think about CM Punk versus Samoa Joe being in the works for 2023? And Billy went from doing a wrestling show with legends like Conan and Disco to now doing one with Brad Shepard. LOL, love to see it.
Who's Brad Shepard again?
He's another one of those like toxic podcaster guys. I guess the best way to describe it. The fans, because like people, they fight with all the. He's one of the guys that fights with all the other dirt sheet guys all the time. So,
Right.
Yeah.
all right. So, yeah, you're just repeating what we said. I'm not, bro. If CM Punk comes back, I'm not that interested in anything he does if it doesn't include the storyline of him and the Elite. And if they don't go there, it's like, I think it could be underwhelming for their numbers, honestly. And I think it might turn. I think it might turn a lot of their fans that are watching it off, possibly. You know, that they're going to think like, wow, this, you got this great angle there, and you're not going to do it. I don't know. We'll see. What do you think?
Yeah, that's the first angle they should do. But if things haven't been worked out yet, I don't have no problem with Samoa Joe because they do have a history. And if they can go back to the ROH library and explain that history, plus Samoa Joe's not just an ROH guy. He was a WWE guy and he was an Impact guy. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows how great he is. He cuts good promos. He can go. They could probably do some good. So I would be into it.
I wouldn't be surprised. And I said this, I've said it for a while that I thought they would go with Punk and Joe just because of the history. But I've also said I wouldn't be surprised if Tony, being the big, Ring of Honor fan that he was in the Indies in the mid-2000s and all that, I think you're going to see that they're going to do a Ring of Honor one-night stand like reunion pay-per-view at some point. And I wouldn't be surprised if Punk and Joe headline it.
That'll be a pay-per-view I don't see. Next is from TC Best, and subject is Jimmy Jacobs, who is... I guess he's still... we're doing a disco list this week, too, correct?
Yes, we are.
Right.
Okay. If he still paints his fingernails and his toes, he's still on the disco list. Hey, guys, what's up? The question's for Disco. I was watching Impact Wrestling lately and happened to see Jimmy Jacobs doing a backstage interview, and I noticed that his fingernails weren't painted.
Huh.
So would you consider taking him off the disco list? Just wanted to know. Yeah, I would. I've been pretty clear about that, haven't I?
Well, we have to see the toenails, too.
We'd have to know, yeah. And I mean, he might just have a clear coat on that day, so they're still painted, but you don't realize it.
Yeah, that's true.
Joe likes to wear clear coat.
Yeah, well, it makes you look nice. Keeps you looking sharp.
Next is from Guled Ahmed, and the subject is Mercedes Moné Outcasts. What's up, K100 crew? Considering the book of the Outcasts lately, would you guys still be interested in Mercedes Moné joining the Outcasts or Renee Paquette in a Bischoff-esque role? Thanks from Hangside. No, I don't care. Would I be interested? No.
Mm-hmm.
That's my answer to that question. Do you have an answer to that question, Conan?
Yeah, no, also.
Right. Next is from Ryan Damone. Subject is Orange Cassidy Tony Khan? Hey guys, promoters often push wrestlers that they see themselves in. Watts pushed burly college football players. Vern pushed amateur wrestlers. Vince pushed bodybuilders and anti-establishment wrestlers. Do you think Tony Khan pushes Orange Cassidy because he sees himself in him? Orange is a nerdy wrestling slacker who now happens to be undefeated since August of 2022. Their longest reigning champ and the guy who is usually trusted to open Dynamite. Do you think that Orange represents what Khan wishes he could be? Thanks. I don't know, Coney. You can answer this better because I don't know.
Well, I don't think. Why would Khan want to be Orange? He's a billionaire. But I just think.
But he dressed up as him that time on Halloween. Remember that?
Yeah, he did. And he might. Who knows? Maybe he does want to be like him, or maybe he just thought the character was cool. I don't know.
So maybe Orange Cassidy is Tony Khan vicariously pushing himself, and could very reasonable.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know, right? Next is from Big Rig, and the subject is trap exercises. Hello, gentlemen. I was wondering about your favorite trap exercise while at the gym. How often did you work traps, and did you pair them with shoulders or back day? Thanks for taking the time to read this. I'm more interested in your workout routines and current wrestling. I don't do traps hardly anymore, but shrugs and upright rows are the only two trap exercises I've ever known, and I would do a lot of upright rows back when I was wrestling. I had decent traps in WCW. Now, there was mostly upright rows, and I would do them on shoulder day. How about you, Conan?
Yeah, I had very prominent traps and lats, but I just basically I got a lot of the thickness from doing heavy chest. But I think that that the shrugs I only really did. I would get in front of a you know the squat rack, and I would put the bar down low, and I would do front shrugs, and I would do back shrugs. And that was really all I had to do.
Next is from Brian Dunlop, and the subject is World Championship Wrestling video games. Disco
you're
Inferno,
gonna find this fascinating, Di.
Disco Inferno and WCW versus the World. Hello, Disco and Conan. A few months ago, I started getting into the 1997 PlayStation 1 game, WCW versus the World. In the game, there's a character art for a wrestler named Sherlock, who I originally thought was based on the Disco Inferno. But as it turns out, that in-game character is based on Ken Shamrock. But they couldn't use his name or the names of Japan-based wrestlers because of licensing reasons. WCW wrestlers like Ric Flair and Eddie Guerrero got to keep their real in-ring names in the game. How much was the pay for WCW games back in the day, and how is it adjusted for inflation? And has anyone ever brought up the Disco Sherlock connection from WCW versus the World? Of course not. Nobody's ever brought that. Like nobody. Who would bring that up? Like who is playing the 1997 video game WCW versus the World in the year 2023 and inquiring about the Sherlock character and whether there's a connection to me besides Brian Dunlop?
I've seen it on Twitter lately.
Are you serious?
I've seen threads discussing this on Twitter lately. Yes.
This exact thing.
This exact thing. That's probably where he got it.
Really? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, pull up the attachment, Joe. Oh, by the way, so we got two separate. One video game we got $55,000, and another video game we got $35,000. What were your checks, Connie? Did you get the 55? You might have gotten more.
I got both of them.
Yeah. So that was wasn't that awesome when you?
I think they just paid the mid carders the same.
Yeah, I think when that check came in the mail and you opened it up and looked at it, it's like, how awesome was that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good day. You got the clip? You got the?
Yeah, it's up. This is what the guys.
It does look like me, kind of.
Yeah.
Sherlock. All right. Okay, that's enough. Next one's from Brendan Triano, and the subject is a couple of points and an important question. All right. What's good, fellas? It's your boy, the mayor of K100. So Disco mentioned if anyone has been to a house show that Dom wrestled at to chime in about his heat. Well, before WrestleMania, I attended a WCW house show in Trenton, New Jersey. Dom couldn't even breathe without being booed. His heat reminds me of that time Elias and Kevin Owens in Seattle, and Elias mentioned the Supersonics. That hit a nerve and was great heat. Such a shame they don't allow Elias to be a jerk on TV like he was, by the way. You mentioned Vince Russo not seeing how a punk kid with a beloved parent is a good angle, because maybe Russo was that punk kid and he's in denial. Just kidding. Respect to Russo. My next point comes from the heart.
Does Vince still think that the noise is piped in for him?
No, we had a discussion about that too. Again,
all right.
Yeah. My next point comes from the heart. As a mayor of K100, I have a responsibility to also keep 100. I'm glad that Billy and K100 relationship is over. I couldn't take the disrespect. Billy falls at what I feel many people suffer from, and that is putting your entire self-worth into how others perceive you on the internet. Even past the not taking criticism. If you took away Twitter and all 53 burner accounts Billy has, how long would it take for him to go insane? Him and many others who are sadly addicted to social media and that form of engagement act out and aggressively compare and insult when the perception of themselves is not what they want it to be. In my opinion, I feel we should migrate towards ignoring the guy altogether. My question this time is about food. Well, how are we going to ignore the guy altogether if you people keep writing in about him? It's like, how funny is that, right? My question this time is about food. I'm trying to lose weight for my wedding you guys are invited to. I'm
Nice.
6'4", 285 pounds currently. I was 315 last year and cut down on the soda and other sugars. I know the disco diet was chicken and salad, but how do I eat good food without dying of boredom? I just ate a hot dog with pulled pork, fresh coleslaw, barbecue sauce, and pickled red onion on a toasted bun. I was in heaven. I don't want to eat bad anymore, but I also don't want to be miserable or relapse into bad habits. Suggestions to navigate this? P.S. I like when Discord members come up in the mail and Joe says, I like that person. But he never says that about me. His go-to guy for all things introduction-based entertainment. Unbelievable. Message me at 3:48 on a Sunday and do the intro again. Go ahead. What is he talking about here, Joe?
Oh, well, every time I ask in the Discord if anybody wants to do the show intro, the mayor is always suggested. So then I'll message him and say, hey, do you want to do the intro? And then he doesn't get back to me. So
Yeah, because what time do you message him? He says here 3:48 on a Sunday.
at times, there's a variety of times he's been.
You
nice
actually think somebody's going to answer you back at 3:48 on a Sunday?
Well, then it's there when he wakes up.
Bro, just if you want to lose weight, just do intermittent fasting. Just try it. I had the Samoan kid at my job that I worked with in the back, the guy that grew up with Jeff Cobb. By the way, I found out later. It was funny. We worked together all that time. And we never knew that, right?
Right.
But he started doing intermittent fasting, and like all of a sudden, the guy like a couple months later, he lost like 30 pounds. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I started doing the intermittent fasting like you. I go, well, how's your diet? He goes, I didn't change anything. So seriously, dude, you don't have to change what you're eating. Start with the intermittent fasting and see if it works, because it makes sense. Okay, the easiest way and the simplest way for a human being to lose weight is to not eat anything. Okay, that's what happens. You get skinnier, you get hungry, and you die, right? So if you're intermittently starving yourself throughout periods of a day and it all adds up, that it makes sense. So I would just try.
Should the time be 8 hours, 12 hours?
I do a 16 and 8. I do like 8. So my first meal's at 2 o'clock. My last meal's at 8 o'clock. And I usually just do 2 meals, 1 at 2, 1 at 8. Maybe in between I'll have a snack like some nuts or something, or maybe some tuna fish or something like that. But I just do like my last meal's at 8. My first meal's at 2. I do a 16-hour fast. So actually that's for the 18-hour fast. Yeah. But sometimes I break, like on my off days. But if I like stick to it, like if I go 2 straight weeks of intermittent fasting, I'll lose like 6 pounds. But sometimes I just do it like 4 days a week. Like when I'm working, I'll intermittent fast, and then on my days off, I try to, but it's like it doesn't really work, So, but yeah, I would suggest if you're 6'4", 285, try that, because my buddy he was like 6'2", he was like it's like 6'2", 300. And he's lost tons of weight now. Like he looks like a completely different person just from intermittent fasting. So it works. Like that, I would definitely tell everybody, if you want to lose weight, try it, because it's the one thing that definitely gets results. So.